the future.
And we do have massage chairs.
Fear in the future.
Yeah, we do.
But guys, my question is like, if Ray Bradbury was living in a time when the TV had just come out,
PlayStation 4.
do you think he was excited about the TV? Do you think that he thought the TV was going to be good to people or it was going to be bad? Yeah, I bet a lot of people were like that. I bet a lot of people were a little bit nervous about technology advancing so fast.
Yeah, it was like 2 inches though. Oh, my God.
Yeah, they were small. I did a little bit of research. They were pretty
My
tiny.
grandma had the first color.
All right, small humans. Now we're going to talk about what happened and what it means, okay? Remember that question about being able to give a summary of the plot? So basically all the plot is just the sequence of events that happened. Just the bare bones, this is what happened. If you go to the movies, you go see Black Panther and your friend didn't go see it, but they want to know about it, you're going to give them the plot. Well, this happened and this guy was doing this thing, but then this happened, and yada yada yada, okay? That's the plot.
That never happened.
That never happened. I haven't seen the movie, so I need to see this. Okay, so guys, we understand plot. I feel like you do understand plot. We're going to talk about it a little bit more, but you know what that word means.
Yeah.
Sure, like summary.
Exactly, it's like summary. But what's a theme?
Theme.
Like the theme of something, like
The setup, like the set and the setup.
Like what it's based on.
That set
The setup?
to the set. Well, like
Okay, so a theme can be like, well, sometimes when you're on the internet and like you can choose a theme for like a blog, right?
Sideshow or something.
That's true. You can use that word in that sense. It's kind of like the feel, right? The vibe. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so we can use theme in that sense, definitely. So theme refers to. Hang on. Oh, you know what? I'm overstepping myself. We're going to talk more about plot. We'll talk about themes in a minute. So on your desks, you will have a very crudely drawn picture of something that I drew on there. And based on what's drawn on your desk, that's going to be your group. Don't move yet. So we're going to talk about plot a little bit more. Off the tops of your heads, do you guys know, guys, I want everyone's eyes on me. I don't want anyone turning around. Off the tops of your heads, can you think of some of the parts of plot? What does a plot consist of? A plot line consist of?
Beginning, middle, end.
Nice. Okay, yeah. Beginning, middle, and an end. Okay, so in academia, these words have a little bit fancier terms. So in the beginning, we have something called the exposition.
Oh.
All right? And that's a word you're going to see tons throughout the rest of your English career, okay? Exposition is like the beginning, it's the setup. Okay? It's everything that Ray Bradbury did to introduce the characters, to introduce the setting, to introduce what time period this was going to be in. And even though Ray Bradbury doesn't talk about too much in the story, you have to infer a lot, he does at least give you those things. In the beginning, he shows you that we've got George and Lydia. We live in a futuristic house, and these are the issues that they're dealing with. They're living in this futuristic house and they're not sure they're ready for it. So we know that much in the exposition. This whole line here is called the rising action. This is everything that complicates the story. This is everything that makes you kind of nervous that everything is going to go to pot. So what are some of the conflicts in the Veldt? Lions. There are lions in the nursery. Yes, that is part of the rising action for sure. Let's, for a minute, let's talk about a Disney movie.
Okay.
Let's talk about Finding Nemo.
Oh, I like that.
For a minute.
like that.
Okay,
I
so,
think 7 discs gets lost in the middle of watching it.
okay, yeah, so in the beginning, we're introduced to the ocean, we're introduced to Marlin and his son Nemo, and that's the exposition, okay? We know a little bit about them. What happens that gets the plot rolling?
Nemo gets lost.
Nemo gets lost, it's this huge conflict. Okay, what else
Now
happens?
Nemo becomes stupid.
Dory shows up. We have a new character. So we've got kind of, so this is a very simple, like, diagram. And, hang on, I've got one coming that's more kind of like how stories usually go. Ah! Hold it, okay. So, let's pretend this is Nemo, right? So, like, we learn that Dory, like, struggles in school. not swim very well. We learn that, well, he gets lost, right? And then we meet Dory. And then there are lots of sharks and like fish and pelicans. Yeah? And then what happens?
They go
Find
get
it.
They find Dory. But what, I mean, Nemo. There's a movie about that too, though. What's this called? It's written up there. It's the climax. Yeah, okay, so the climax is the most, like, pivotal moment in the story. Okay? So let's hop back to the Veldt for a second.
Okay.
What's the climax of the Veldt? What's the moment where you're like on the edge of your seat the most?
When they get like a lion.
They're locked in the room. And the whole time, Bradbury is saying, the lions might be real, and your wallet and your scarf were in there, and they were all bloody, and the lions are always eating something, and the kids hate you, and they're screaming, and so the whole time you're like, oh my gosh, and then they get locked in there, and they get eaten.
and die.
Yeah, so this is definitely the climax moment. Okay, now this is a French word.
Okay.
It's called denouement.
Yeah.
Everybody together. Denouement. Denouement. Okay. I don't know why we use the French word. Apparently they thought of it first. Guys, settle down a second. Settle down. Okay. So this means the following action, or this means like the resolution, okay? And every story usually has one. Short stories sometimes don't, but this one does. So what was some of the actions that followed? Okay, they were eaten. That was kind of part of the climax. What happened afterwards?
Psychologist.
Yeah, the psychologist shows up and the children are having a picnic. Like nothing happened. Okay?
What were they eating? They were smiling.
They were smiling.
They asked if he wanted
So, I mean, guys, is the story, here's a question for you. Is the story the same if there's none of that stuff that happened afterwards? If we just, is the story different when we see the kids like all politely sitting and having a picnic afterwards? Does that make the story a little bit different?
Yeah.
What does it say?
That they tried to get
not like their parents. They're psychos.
They're pretty happy that their parents are dead, right? Do they even feel? Are they even like, they're like not even fazed by it? Their parents just got eaten by lions and they don't even
They're
care.
having a picnic and watching it happen.
Well, they picture
Yeah.
their parents.
She gets mad if my parents got eaten.
I would be mad about that. Exactly. I'm a person with a heart.
Good.
Okay,
Personally, I prefer
so, guys, really quick. I have here some paper. And Miss Palestino, are there markers to speak of?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
That's cool. Alright, everyone, the moon people. Are you a moon person? All moon people, raise your hand. Alright, before I do anything, I am going to give you a piece of paper very quickly. This is just very